So here we are live again, and yeah, hopefully we got some people on the show today. It's the European session. I'm not going to be here for hours today because I've got a few things to attend to this morning. Got to take some people somewhere, but I'm here for now, and we can quickly have a look at how things are going because it's been an interesting couple of days, and I must say that the markets have been kind of going up and down, and people are making decisions based on the drop of a hat and the smallest geopolitical decision or the smallest decisions. I don't know if it's the interest rates cuts or whatever. I mean, the non-farm payrolls last week really knocked things up and down all over the place. The volatility was really high. And it's great. Volatility is good, but unfortunately, it kind of knocked out my stop losses, whether they were in profit, whether they were break even, or even whether they were in loss. Most of them got wiped out. So it was quite a interesting day. Now, hi Elaine, welcome. Good morning. So what I did yesterday is I put a few trades in based on these trends. And they've kind of gone against us a little bit. That said, that's how it goes. But it looks like it wants to turn around. For example, this DAX, it's still in this trend. It's still in this macro trend. And I won't be unhappy with it until it actually breaks down all the way down to here where the stop loss is, because I'm just a little bit concerned about what looks like a bit of a head and shoulders there. That could be a bit of a problem. But other than that, it is still in the trend, and the structure is still there. So I'm looking at this to break upwards and carry on in the trend if nothing disastrous goes wrong. But what I'm also looking at based on that is we've got the US 500, which is up here, broken through its resistance, and it's filtering around up here, sort of in a range. And that to me looks more like a kind of flag pattern, and it's probably going to resolve to the upside. And if it does, it's going to fly. So it's either going to crash or it's going to fly. And the way I see it, it's most probably people are going to try and target the 6,000 for Christmas. So you can expect most likely, just saying most likely, a bullish market. So that's why I've taken a few longs with very wide stop losses. The stop losses are massive, because I just want to leave myself a bit of room, because people are really getting excited at the slightest drop of a hat. Morning, Blood. Welcome. So, like I say, the Nikkei also sort of turned against us a little bit. Here as well, I traded in because I saw what I trade these fair value gaps, and I don't normally trade them, but I saw it there and it's a big one. So I thought, there must be some money lying in this area. There's a big gap there. So I traded into that with a view of it going out, but also with a view that, the support is quite far down here, put the stop loss down here. But I think on the funded trader account, which is, by the way, not doing so well today. It's 4 trades down, and on Friday, all the stop losses got taken out there as well. But it'll work itself out. It always does. But let's just have a look at that. It's the JAP 225. Where's the stop loss on that one? Stop loss on this one is 37.2. So it's much lower. I've put it much lower down. Left a nice wide gap so that this can stay open, because you can see the last time it hit the lows was quite a while ago, and they're quite far down. So we're trying to keep these trades open as much as possible, and so that account can run a bit. This one I put a bit of a tighter stop on because it's much more money. All right, so it's a different ball game altogether. But I'm trying to keep the stops wide. Gold, I'm still long after all this time because it's messing around in this pennant. But at the end of the day, this should also, at the end of the day, resolve to the upside. And if it doesn't, we've got our stop loss down here, and we have to accept that it doesn't if it doesn't. I took the Aussie dollar, US dollar. Like I say, I don't normally trade into that either, but it's very similar to the DAX. It's sitting in this trend, nicely sitting in this trend, and it's come down to its trend support, and there's a good chance that it can bounce off this trend support. So that's what I'm looking at the end of the day. I'm looking at it bouncing off this trend support. If it does happen to break through that, not great. We need a stop down here. but I'm looking at this area down here as well, a strong resistance area. So it best case it probably would reach the 66 6, and it will bounce off there and carry on back up again, and then at least come back up to the trend, getting you back into the trade, and you can get out. But the way I see it, it should hopefully bounce off of this trend support here. Morning, Kokoro, welcome. Good to see you again. As I said to you guys, it's not going to be a really long session this morning because I do have some people to take somewhere, some friends, and you know, people don't realize that you actually do have a job, you do work. You've got to trade. You can't just go messing around, but you know, people want to go messing around, and I'm going with them. So that's the joy of being a trader. You can if you need to. You don't have to sit at your desk all day if you don't want to. Of course, we could trade the 5-minute charts and sit at the desk all day and work that way, but you don't have to. So yeah, so the Thunder Trader account took a lot of stop loss on Friday. So it did get hit quite hard on Friday with all the different stop losses, but the DAX went out on profit, as it did on the other one as well. Gold, I don't think I was in on this account, and the Aussie dollar, US dollar took a loss. The Nikkei was probably in, it probably took a loss as well. So anyway, so Monday we're back in, and we're leaving it for the week, and we'll see what happens. But it's not to say the account's that bad. This week has been interesting. I'm what, $800 down on this account this week, and on this account I'm about $3,000 down this week. So that's one of those things. We'll pick it up. It's fine. It's been one of those weeks. Last week, that is. Let's say. Morning, Mirror. Welcome. It's good to see you guys here. I'm glad everyone is here today, and we are looking good for our trades. Now, you'll see the VIX has picked up as well. When you can trade the VIX, I can't trade it on here, but you can trade it with, I think, companies like IG and Interactive Markets, things like that. So just have a look at that. The VIX is always a big win, but at the moment it's too late. I normally buy them in at 15 or 14, and I wait for these big spikes to occur. Remember, I told you that trick a while back. The France 40 has fallen into support, but remember, it is in support here. While it is called short, there's a good chance it could bounce out of this support, with the US 500 most likely is going to bounce up as well somewhere down the line. So don't expect too much from that. Brent has been incredibly strong with the geopolitical situation in the world at the moment, causing the oil price to go back up. But remember, I did say that the oil price will probably get back up to this 81, 82 level, and it has. And since it got there, it's got into its resistance. It's fallen out. Now you just got to wait and see if it's going to pick up some money here and continue on, or if it's going to continue on down to the bottom. You say gold wiped you out. Normally I'm pretty happy with gold when I'm trading it, but yeah, at the moment it's a bit like just giving me a pain, because it's going nowhere. It's just sitting around here and not doing much. So yeah, there we go. The Nikkei is my biggest pain at the moment as well. It's just, I don't know, it keeps doing these strange things to me. So we'll just have to see what's going on there. There was some politics that caused that big red line, and then there was a big green line, and I tell you what, we'll see. But yeah, at the moment it is in a sort of area where there is some money. It could go down to the main support, and then it'll probably bounce up, but it's in its area, and the macro trend in the 4-hour is bullish. So let's see. The macro trend in the DAX is bullish. So let's see. It's trying to break through here. Let's hope that it doesn't, because otherwise I will be worried about this. The head and shoulders is a bit offset, so that's why I took the chance. You know, it's not 100% head and shoulders. It's not straight. So, but it just looks ominous. That doesn't look like a nice picture, let's say. The market will always fool you into a false sense of security, you know, at the end of the day. Yeah. So, what can you guys tell me for the week? How's your week been and how's your trading been? I must say, it's been a long time since I saw a news event like non-farm payrolls move the market so much last week. I don't normally watch the markets, I mean the news, but that was quite a interesting scenario. Normally it's only when the Fed speaks or they drop interest rates or something like that that causes all the problems. Long US dollar ZAR long at the moment. It's broken structure and it looks like it's going long at the moment. How far it'll go, best case scenario is this resistance at the top here, which is back up all the way at the 18. Just so by the way, there is another double top lying here, which it might reach. If it reaches that double top, it'll be a triple top and it'll probably come back down again. So that is at 1760. So it might not get past 1760, which is why I'm not long on it at the moment, because there's a little double top sitting here, which is of great concern when you're trading into something like this, because it has been very bearish. Look at that chart down there. That's a solid bearish run. So yeah, there is a bit of a recovery there. So this could be what we call a dead cat bounce. So don't get too excited about that. It might only get to 1760, turn around and head back down again. So we shall see what happens with that. Euro, Great British Pound. This also sort of a bounce. And is this strong enough? That's a long green bar. There's a lot of buyers that came in on the Euro, Great British Pound. So that is, of course, a bit of a concern, but that could easily become a short as well, because it's going back into that was support and it became resistance and it's going back in there now. So if it comes back out of that, you could see look at this trend, look at this structure coming down here. So it's still in there. It could still come down. That is for sure. As far as investments go, don't get excited about your investments with the market moving around. You know, I just got this strange feeling the way the markets are going at the moment. It's just too, there's just, it's just not getting anywhere. It's just not getting to where it needs to go. It keeps hitting and going, hitting and going. And sometimes it just feels like the markets are going to fall over. If they do, don't touch your investments. Just leave them there. Don't worry about them. They'll be fine. Tried the 4-hour chart yesterday and ended up having a fight with a 5-minute trying to stay disciplined on the 4-hour today. Shall we trade the 5-minute, guys? Nah, it's not. You know, there was a stage when I traded the 1-minute charts, guys. Yo, I don't know why I did that. But yeah, that's crazy. It doesn't, you know, 99% of traders lose on those charts. And it's because there just isn't enough reliable information on a chart like that. Effectively, if you want to trade 5-minute and 1-minute charts, what you've got to do, and this changes, it evolves over time. So understand that this evolves. This doesn't stay the same when you're trading. So for example, let's say you want to trade a 5-minute. We'll use a 5-minute. You're going to have to go back on charts for the last, I don't know, few months, and just have a look at what the market tends to do at the open, what the market tends to do with certain types of candles, and what the market is doing in that time frame. Like for example, now that the structure would have changed slightly from what it was a couple of months ago to what it is now, because the whole world economy and system has changed, where interest rates were going up, now interest rates are going down. The market will tend to do different things when they open up with the 5 minutes and the 1 minute and that sort of thing. What you've got to do is try and identify for yourself what those candles are doing and try and follow patterns that happened yesterday, the day before, and the day before that. And also what happens on a Monday, what happens on a Tuesday, what happens on a Wednesday. Then you can start picking up a bit of profitability from a 5-minute. But if you're just identifying a 5-minute chart on any specific normal pattern, or on support and resistance, or on a candlestick shape, or anything to that effect, you are going to struggle on those lower time frames. Those lower time frames will definitely take you out. So for example, now the market has been a little bit tricky with news events and things like that. And you know, the last thing you expect when you're trading on a 4 hour is for your stops to get taken out so quickly on a news event. It normally doesn't happen. It's a bit like a day chart. So what I've done on the 4 hour charts is I've kept wide stops. So on the 4 hour, you have that ability where you can put your stop loss quite far out. So the chances of it reaching that stop, it's not going to reach it easily. It's not going to reach it quickly. For example, Friday was a very unfortunate event. Like I say, the NFPs haven't moved markets like that for months, and it's unusual. So normally when you have your stops wide on a 4 hour like this, they don't get taken out on those events, because the trouble with those events is the event will happen, there'll be a movement, and then it will all settle back to where it was eventually. When there's a general trend, that trend will stick and it'll stand. So those long shoots, those long tails, they can be quite a pain in the, yeah, you know what I'm saying. This as well, you know, put the stop on, like I say, on the funded account, I've actually put the stop further out, put it further down here. I'm not too worried about it. I'm leaving it there, and then we'll see it when it gets there. Also here with the funded account, you'll see what I've done. I've put, I think, a $250 max loss on each and every account, on each and every trade. So then I've worked out that we can have 4 trades on here. That gives us $1,000 loss. Hopefully they don't all lose at the same time, because I'm only allowed to lose $1,000 in a day. I'm really hoping that they don't all lose on the same day, and we can keep the account open. But yeah, the chances of that happening, it shouldn't be, because I'm not going to be around today as well. But like I say, I got the 4 trades open, and we shall see what happens. We'll play it by ear and see how it goes. But if we do lose close on $1,000 here, then, you know, as long as it doesn't take the whole amount out, we should still have an account open, and we'll take it from there. But if it goes into profit, that's great. But I've put the stop losses as far out as possible. Each trade is risked on 1%, and I've tried to keep it within that $1,000 limit, and we shall see how it goes, because yeah, something's got to happen with this account. And then on Friday, well, we lost a couple $100 on a few trades here as well with that movement. So, but yeah, let's see how this thing goes. It's fun. If you guys want these, this thing is funded trader markets, there's a link in the description as well if you guys want one of these funded accounts. These guys are quite good because they allow me to leave it overnight. They allow me to put for slow trading. It's good for slow traders, for tortoises like me. It's not one of those where they expect you to close at night and you must trade their way and you must trade ICT and all this rubbish. You can trade your own way. You can do your own thing. And that's why I chose these guys for the test, because a lot of guys were saying they can't trade our way on the funded accounts. So that's why I opened this account, to see if we can trade our way on these funded accounts. So far, not so good, but we'll see how we go. We'll see how we get there. I must say it's much easier to throw large amounts of money at an account, because that's what I'm used to. And then you can sort of just trade it according to your own way. So for example, take 10 trades here at $1,000 risk each. You're risking $10,000 off a $100,000 account, and you know you're going to make a big trade somewhere down the line and get it back. And it's about the macro picture, not about today. It's about how much are we going to make over the period of a year. So don't worry if you have a bad day, a bad week, a bad moment. Worry about those big ones that you're waiting for, and be patient. Like for example, a lot of people will see this loss, or they'll see this loss on the DAX. It was much more a few moments ago. Or they'll see this loss on gold, for example, and you'll jump out of the trade quickly, which is right. You want to get rid of your losses as quickly as possible, but it's still a valid trade. Don't get out if it's still a valid trade. Get out when the trade is invalid. When you look at a trade and you say, well, this is not valid anymore, but this will look valid to me until it gets to the stop loss, because there's always a possibility of it turning around in any one of these areas. So be careful of that. Yeah, it's good to have you on board there as well. And yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, good, man. Good. Yeah, like I always say, the market will always fool you into a false sense of security. The market is risky. You don't like risk. You don't like losing money. This is not the place for you. But yeah, it's a 50-50 game, guys. We all know that. I've told you guys this. And you don't make $1 million in a day. And that's the mistake that so many people make when they get into trading. They think that they're going to make $1 million in a day. You're going to throw $100 at this thing and just going to make money's just going to fall out the sky. And yeah, well, that's the casino mentality. It doesn't work like that. This is something you have to learn, something you have to get to know, and treat it as a business or a career. Don't treat it as a casino. It's not a casino. This is something you have to figure out, and it's all about your mentality. It's all in the mind, guys. It's all about how you work your trades. It's all about how you work your profits. What you're trying to do is keep your losses as stable as possible. I've paid $1,000 for this trade. I know that, and if it goes wrong, that's what I've paid. But I'm looking to make at least $2,000 on the trade, and that way I know if I lose a few and win a few, it goes in my favor. It doesn't always work out. Sometimes you have bad days. And you know, for example, with the Friday stop outs, the DAX was $600 in profit on the stop loss when it got taken out. I don't count it as much of a win, but it's still a win. It's not a loss. But you need to make more on your wins and less on your losses. And you know, so you look at your win rate and say, well, I've got a 70% win rate, but your wins are small. So you're going to have a whole mishmash of small wins in your system and a whole mishmash of losses in your system. And then you're going to say, I've got a good win rate. But that's not what it's about. Win rates are not what it's about, guys. You'll see I say it in all the videos. I'm not interested in your win rate. I'm interested in profitability over a period of time. Becoming a profitable trader is all about how you approach your business, all in the mind. You know? Hi, Chris. Yeah, you loaded up on the VIX. Well done, Chris. You're in the pound seats, dude. You're in the pound seats. Look, sometimes the VIX can take a good few months to play out. So whatever you load up in there, make sure that you don't need that money. And what I do, I mean, normally when I trade the VIX, if I get in at 14 or 15, I'll keep loading up. So I'll just keep on, like, I'll buy a quarter, and then I'll buy another quarter, and then I'll buy another quarter, and I'll just keep on loading up as I go over the months. And by the time it plays out, I mean, the last time it played out, it gave me something like $40,000, just like boom, one shot. So yeah, no, it's an amazing thing. I can't trade it on this particular platform. I don't have it available here. It's available on IG. But if you look, this is the one that paid me, this one here. But I held it for a long time, eh? But I added all the way along here because I know the VIX. It's just because I've been doing this for so long, I know what the VIX is all about. If I can find a guy that will let me trade the VIX, I will trade it, because I just keep buying it with a view to that, and it always happens. I mean, we can go back in time. Let's go to the weekly chart, or we can even go to the monthly chart if you like. One monthly chart, and look at how many times it happens. Now, if you want to, Chris, you can go back and just have a look at how many months that is. I think the last time was one of the longest times I had to wait. But yeah, it's you can see how many times it spikes like this. And that's where you make your money, on those spikes. When it spikes like that, you just take your money. I tell you, it's big money. It's really nice, Chris. So just work out how many months. I've never really looked at it. I just keep on buying it until it happens, because I know it's going to happen. It happens all the time. Just look back how many times it's happened. So yeah, that was also quite a long period there, but it did spike quite early. So these spikes are what pay you. That's what you're waiting for. You just keep buying. That's a monthly chart, so you can see how many times. It's usually a few months, and then it pays. That's like a slot machine. Let me tell you something. That is a little slot machine. When you find a broker that allows you to trade the VIX, you trade it, because there's money in the VIX. Yeah, look, I think I can't remember how many contracts I had, was it $1,000 worth? I can't remember, but obviously I remember the winning amount. It was such a nice trade. And the nice trades you don't forget. The nice trades, the profit you don't forget. It's so good. It's so good when you get that. It's such a good day. It pays for everything. I tell you what, it's such a nice day when that happens. These guys who tell you they can trade $1,000 into $1 million, I wish I could do that because that would be such a good day. That doesn't happen, eh? So when you have a win like that, when you have a $40,000 win, let me tell you something. It's a celebratory moment. I just can't explain the feeling to you guys. But that's what I've always talked to you guys about. It's all in the head. It's all in the emotions. And your emotions, it's adrenaline. Your emotions can go really high. It is dangerous. You have to control them because the next trade you sort of might be overconfident and that sort of thing. But I've learned over the years that the VIX pays me. It's almost like a bonus. So that's the only reason I've still got an account with IG is because I can trade the VIX. And the VIX is wow, what a good trade. But most brokers don't give you the VIX anymore. It's weird. I can't get it here either. It's I don't know. GT doesn't give it either. It's a pity. In the beginning, everybody gave it, but I think that they found out too many people had figured them out. Yeah, Chris, you'll make it. Don't worry. I normally, like I say, I buy the VIX at around 15, 14, and then it pays off. Normally pays off in the end. Pays well. That's the best trade you're ever going to have. Okay, so this DAX is now starting to look like it's not going to break through this support at the moment. So I'm happy about that because, like, you know, I am long. The Aussie dollar, US dollar, I'm in a similar position here. Long, sitting on it. Man, why am I taking trades in Asia when I'm sleeping when these things take effect? The US dollar, Japanese yen is long at the moment. It has got structure here. But I think when it gets to this resistance, it'll probably come back. We'll see if it breaks through. That might be interesting. Oh, I called the Euro US dollar this morning and I've been forgetting to watch it. We're supposed to be going short on this, guys. No, but it hasn't closed the candle yet, has it? No, it hasn't. Okay. So just keep in mind the Euro US dollar short. We can go short on that. That'll be a good trade. Well, if it doesn't go through the what's now resistance and break back to the upside, but it most certainly looks like it wants to continue on down in structure here. So, and the way things are going, it's a good possibility of that. Only thing that worries me is the Great British Pound. US dollar is a similar sort of, they kind of follow each other pretty closely, the Euro and the Great British Pound. And I'm just looking at this mega support on the Great British Pound. So let's just watch that as well. But the Euro US dollar has in the past come down to the 106, 107. It's even been down almost at 1-to-1 at one stage. Let's just, if it gets down to this 107, that'll be a good trade. So let's see if it gives us a nice short into the 107. That'll be great. That'll be a nice trade. Are you long? Okay. I'm still thinking this is going to go short. Euro US dollar. If you want to go long, you're going against the short-term trend. If you look at the long-term trend, you've got a bit of a bullish pattern here, which is broken. It's kind of broken this pattern. So just be careful of your long. Just my thoughts on it. I can see why you're long. I can see that you're looking at this daily bullish run here. It's in a range. There is a range here. But what I see with the range is, let me narrow this down for you. There's your resistance, double top, okay, the fall, but there's your support all the way down here. And on the daily, your main support is quite far down. It's at 107. So just be careful on that long, because what I'm seeing is a move to the upside and structure down. I might be wrong. on many occasions, but just be careful of the long trade on the euro US dollar. But if it breaks through here, fantastic trade, it'll be good. I wait normally until it gets out of these areas, so I'm waiting for it to sort of just come out of here and give me a good signal which way it's going. But what I'm seeing here is down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, so just watch out for that. Leverage is what your brokerage supplies you, eh? I see you asking what leverage do you use for currency pairs. Leverage is what your brokerage supplies you. It's usually about 10 to 1. So you can't normally choose your leverage. That's what your brokerage is prepared to offer you. But normally they're about 10 to 1. The leverage is quite high on currency pairs. Currency pairs are very high usually. You still have a pending Aussie dollar, US dollar short. So you've obviously traded the right way, but I've traded the opposite way because of this railway line here. This for me is a trend, and I'm looking at the trend as it's hit the trend support, and I'm looking for it to take me up. Continuation on the structure. So I'm looking at structure, I'm looking at support, and if it breaks this, I've got my stop loss a bit further down because I expect this might come into play. But where I see it is it's on this support here. So simple. I'm not getting complicated or using any fair value gaps or demands or open at this time or that time. I'm just straightforward. Okay, it's on the support. Yeah, pleasure. Yeah, no, just whatever your broker offers you. The currency pairs are usually highly geared. And, just be careful with brokers. And this is something I picked up in the past that a lot of people don't realize. You'll be trading, for example, especially on indexes. Indexes are a big thing. Okay. With one broker, you'll be able to take a contract with, say, the DAX, and it'll cost you $1,000 and wow, that'll be great, and it trades within your means. And then you'll open an account with, say, AvaTrade or a different account. It happened to me before. And you'll take the same size trade because you're used to taking that size trade, and it costs you 10,000. It's just like a much bigger contract. Just watch out for that. Just check your contract sizes when you open an account with a new broker. Make sure you trading on the right products, because the products differ slightly. That's why they got different codes as well. So don't get caught out by these different product sizes. Okay, so your entry 68.45. So watch it. Yeah, that's on the Aussie dollar, US dollar, eh? 68. Yeah, no, you've got a good trade there. If I was you, I'd probably play around a bit with my stop loss just to be on the safe side. And because you're way up here, so you could actually move your stop loss down a little bit to trail it, and that way you don't lose anything and the trade costs you nothing. But that's up to you. Yeah, Miro, how's it? Long Great British Pound US dollar did not work out for anyone. It really did make quite a big crash here. So and I don't expect it to turn long, even though it's hitting the support. You know what might happen with a Great British Pound US dollar, and I'm just looking at this picture now. I don't know if you guys can see it, but what I'm seeing is a left shoulder ahead, and I'm seeing the possibility of a right shoulder developing here, so it might go back up and come around. That would be a huge crash. That would be a big head and shoulders if that happened, and it would come flying down. So keep your eyes open. That would be a biggie. But like I say, at the moment, I'm waiting to see what happens with the euro US dollar, which will give us a picture on the Great British Pound US dollar. Between the two of them, we'll see which way they want to go, because it's still inside the area. This did break through here, okay, but what you'll see on the 4 hour will double bottom. So who said they're long on this euro US dollar just now? But you know, that's pretty good news for you. You're on a double bottom if you're long on this. So the double bottom might play out, but then you've also got a double top. So let's just see what happens. That's why I say wait and be patient. See what happens with the candle. See which way it goes. Because if it breaks to the upside here, green candle, then we're long. If it breaks to the downside here, red candle, then we're short. I'm not in this trade yet, as you can see. I'm waiting to see what happens with it, which way it goes. The reason I'm already into the DAX trade is because I'm right on this trend support, and that is important to me. So I'm seeing that. If it breaks through that, so be it. But the way I saw it is being right on the support. Got to take the chance and try it out and see what happens. The Nikkei, like I said, I was looking for the money in this fair value gap yesterday. And the Aussie dollar, US dollar, same as the DAX. I'm on this resistance. It is short at the moment, but it's on this support, and I'm looking at that support as it should bounce off that support and start going the other way. I don't see these as squiggly lines, guys. I don't see these as barriers or bricks. What I see is human beings trading here. So I'm not the only human being who's looking at this chart and seeing this line and thinking, maybe we should go long here. There's a whole bunch of other human beings thinking along the same lines, and that's how I look at charts. Okay, I'm looking at what everybody else is possibly going to do. Is there orders here? Is there money lying here? And I'm hoping that there's a big institution that's thinking along those lines, because that's where the money is. The big institutions, not in my pockets, that's for sure. Okay, so okay, so 6885. I presume that's your stop loss there. 6885 on here. Or is that your entry point? Okay, your entry point is 6845. So 6885, I presume that's your stop. Actually, I would move if you're on 6885. I mean, at the moment it's at 6732. You got quite a fast. I mean, you could move your stop. You could move your stop down to about 6775, and you'll be fine. Yeah, you could move your stop into profit. I mean, you could move it into about 6778, 6780, 6785. Because look here, here's the, if it breaks this level here at 6770, if it breaks that level there, it's going long. So I would move my stop loss down to about 6775, somewhere around there, just above that. And then you're in profit if it takes it out, at least, and you're making some money. It's a free trade then, not paying for it. It's up to you, but yeah, just that's example. If JPY weakens or strengthens, then all JPY related pairs starts to move in one direction. They all come to a good support or resistance. What I try to do is not trade all of the same things. So for example, if I take a Euro US dollar trade, I won't take a Great British Pound US dollar trade, because I'm taking two trades that are pretty much going to possibly do the same thing. That said, we all trade the US dollar, so, and if the US dollar weakens, then everything follows suit, so that also becomes complicated. But what I try to do is look at trades for what they are. So for example, if I trade the Japanese yen, I try not to trade another product, Asian product that's close to it. For example, I'm in the Aussie dollar, US dollar. I'm not going to trade the New Zealand dollar because it's going to trade really close to it. So, because unfortunately, you will see, for example, that if you trade all the same things, when they all fall together. And there's nothing you can do about that, because then your risk is not mitigated. It becomes expensive, your risk. Your risk becomes more than you want it to be. So for example, if you're risking $1,000 on every trade, and you're looking at the 50-50 principle of, if I lose 5, I should win 5. But if you've traded them all in Japan, they've traded all the same product, there's a possibility you'll lose all 10, which is usually very unusual, but that happens to you, and you don't want to do that. So try and mix and match your stuff up. So for example, I'll trade a Europe I'm trading a Nikkei. Those are two totally different indexes. They do tend to follow each other, but not as close as, for example, the DAX and the France 40. They will be on top of each other, okay? Whereas the Nikkei will do its own thing depending on their politics. So one in Europe, one in Japan, one in the US if you want to trade, for example. Then with the gold, the commodities, I only trade one commodity. I might trade Brent because that's different to gold. Brent trades on a different level. It trades according to how the monopolies price it or whatever the case. So you can trade that on its own. But like I say, I won't trade a Euro US dollar with a Great British Pound US dollar at the same time if I can help it. But then you could trade the Euro US dollar South African Rand, Aussie dollar, US dollar, and you're in three completely different places, planets, whatever the case. So that's how I handle that. I don't try and trade on the same scenario, because otherwise, if you trade the Japanese yen on everything and something happens to the Japanese yen, you're in trouble. Yeah, that's the basis of it. But that's the risk we take with the US dollar as well, by the way. Because if it's the US dollar that takes the knock, then everything goes with it. That's a problem. Okay, so yeah, see, yeah, your stop loss moved then. Yeah, okay. A lot of people will tell you that moving your stop loss is absolute BS and this and that and the other, and you're not getting a trade. And I don't know, I've had comments about that before, or people telling me about that before in other scenarios. But you know what, guys? If I take a stop loss and it's $1,000, okay, that's how much I've paid for the trade, $1,000. If this goes $1,000 into profit, trust me, I'm moving my stop loss up, because then the trade is free and I'm making a profit. Exactly what happened to me on Friday. I moved my stop loss to $600 in profit. So guess what? I got taken out, but I made $600 and I've turned the trade the other way. I was short. So yeah, look guys, it's it's all relevant at the end of the day. But to say that moving your stop loss up to cost is a bad idea is crazy. Because why would you risk $1,000 and then you go $1,000 into profit? Now you're risking $2,000 effectively, not $1,000. So just move your stop loss up to cost. You're $1,000 in, and if you lose, the trade costs you nothing. It's a free trade. No worries. And if you see there's an opportunity to take the profit because you see the trades going the other way, you just take the profit. Nothing wrong with that, guys. Nothing wrong with that. The idea is to make a profit. That's what the idea is. The idea is to take a profit. We don't get into trading to make a loss. None of us get into trading so that we can make a loss. At least I don't know anyone like that. I don't know if you guys know anyone like that, but I don't know anyone who gets into trading to make a loss. So guys, I'm trying to fix the funded trader account for us because it did take a knock last week, and I see it's taking a knock again, unfortunately, but that's how life goes. When you open trades, they always go against you. So I've opened these 4 trades, like I say, and let's see how they go. They've all got about a $200, $250 risk on them. I'm trying to keep it below the $1,000 because I'm only allowed to lose $1,000 a day, and if they all lose together, because I'm all in the Japanese yen on all of them, then I'm just kidding. But we hope that doesn't happen, eh? But if it did, then at least it wouldn't close the account today. That's the main thing. So like I say, I'm trying to figure out if it's possible with our systems to make this funded trader account actually work. This one, I think I've figured it out for us. I think it is just a question of managing that risk differently. And but for example, now where the holdup is, I can't take any more trades on here now, because if I take another trade, I'm risking the account, and that's where the biggest holdup is with these funded trader accounts. But like I say, these guys are cool. If you want this, it's what's it? Funded trader next, eh? Funded trader next. I've left a link in the description if you guys want these. They're actually quite reasonably priced, not too bad. Okay, so yeah, that's just my account. Don't worry about it. It's nothing wrong there. Okay, so somebody asked me about MT5, and it's the only platform that we really trade on down here in South Africa. Most of us use MT5. It's good on the phone. It's good on the screen. I don't put it on the screen here, guys, because like I've said before, my account number's on the top left corner here. And that's one account number I don't want you guys to have. Well, when I say you guys, I say the world, the public. It's like putting your bank account out there. And that's just not what I want to do. So that's the biggie. So I'm leaving that one on the side. But MT5, it's not that. You just got to learn how to use it and how to work with it. This trading view platform is nice. It does work quite well. It's a wonderful little trading platform, but most of the brokers here by me don't use this. So, and I heard someone say yesterday that most of the brokers in Europe also don't use it. So it's unfortunate because it is a really nice little platform. I like it a lot. I think it's fantastic. I think it's actually better than MT5, to be perfectly honest with you. But MT5's got a lot of, it's a more complicated system. It's almost like trading where the stars align on the left and the stars align on the right, and the cheese, moon turns the cheese, and ICT systems and all that sort of stuff. You know, it's a very complicated platform in comparison to most others. But once you know it, it's not that bad. And I use a very similar setup to this, so I'm not too worried about all the fancy stuff and all the rest of it that comes with it. Working out a stop loss and things like that becomes complicated, and they've got a lot of outside things that you can add in with their program. But yeah, it's maybe I'll find a way to show you guys how to use it. It's really complicated to actually try and show people how to use it. You've got to really work with it and figure it out for yourself. It's the only way. The MT5 is not straightforward, I must tell you. I've been using it for years, and I find it quite simple and straightforward for me. But I think explaining it to you guys will be a different thing. But most of you know how to use it. Most of you probably are using it. And you don't need me to tell you how to use it. So, like I say, most brokers, when they give you the MT5 platform, or MT4, doesn't matter, will have a video or something explaining how to work with their product. What I actually found with the funded trader guys, a lot of them are giving you this match trader. This is match trader. Now, they offered C trader and match trader. And because I hadn't used match trader before, I should have taken C trader. It's a much better platform, let me tell you guys. But this match trader, what it does is it's really simple. But the only thing that these guys need, and I hope they're listening to me or they see this sometime, but what they really, really need is an ability to make drawings, to draw those little blockies that I like to draw in. So I don't use this for research whatsoever. In fact, this is only open because we got the live video going. Otherwise, I don't open it much. I only open it to take a trade or whatever the case now. Because I said I would do that. I would take the trades here. But to be honest with you, this match trader, but the one thing that it does have is simplicity. Man, is it simple. It's so straightforward. You know, you can just grab a line here if you want to. That's as much as they've got in the way of lines and Fibbo and stuff. Their indicators are few and far between. If you use indicators, there's not a lot. But it's so simple to change to a line chart, so simple to change your time frame. You know, and you can just move the chart around. So it's very, very basic, guys, super basic. And so if you don't want anything complicated, that's great. But what I do find that annoys me is I can't draw my little things in here. I can only draw like horizontal lines and straight lines and stuff like that. But other than that, very straightforward, very simple. You can put your products down the side here and go and click on them, whatever the case. Like, for example, there's a euro, US dollar. You can just jump on there. There it is. You can make it smaller, make it bigger, put your levels in place. So it's a very simple, straightforward, this match trader thing. Like I say, I think I would have chosen C trader because you can make your drawings on it and stuff like that. But a lot of these funded trader accounts are offering this. And if you're looking for a charting package, don't choose this because this is very, very basic. I think if they brought in the ability to draw in like these little blocks that we draw in and things like that, then it would be probably one of the best. you know, if these guys are listening to me, match trader guys, if you guys draw little blockies into your charts and give the ability to draw our support and resistance in, you'll probably have one of the simplest, easiest charting packages on the market. But like I say, if I had the choice over with this account, I would have chosen the C Trader because that does have the ability to do it. I don't know why I actually chose this, but it was just in the heat of the moment and I wasn't too worried about it at the time either. So, okay, here it is, it's there. But I prefer to use the MetaTrader or the trading view charts to get my levels, because you get good levels here. You can trade it properly. It's much better, let me tell you. MetaTrader's got everything that TradingView's got, apart from a few of the fancy indicators that we don't use anyway. It's just more complicated to operate, that's all. The other thing I like about TradingView is this buy-sell indicators and whatnot that you get here, which you don't get on MetaTrader. They do show you your levels, but they don't give you all this fancy stuff that you can see where your levels are clearly. They're not as clear. They're not as smashing. They're not as nice. Let's put it that way. They're much nicer on this product. And now, you know what, guys? I'm not even affiliated to this TradingView, so I don't know why I'm telling you about it or promoting it, but just saying, like, I'm very happy with it. I have left a link to them, I think, in the index. I don't know, it's not in this description. It might be in the other videos, but if you really want to get to it, it's straightforward. But I don't get anything for it, guys. It's pretty straightforward. It's just a charting package. The MetaTrader as well, that you get with your broker. Your broker supplies it. Spot on. Learn how to use it and you'll be fine. Yeah, C2C is good for psychology. Yeah, psychology is the big thing, guys. You know, psychology is what it's all about. You've got to get your mind around it. You've got to be comfortable with what you're doing. So what I do, like I said, I'm going out now, so I'm going to have to actually sign off in the next 10 minutes or so. But that's what I do. Sorry about that. So that's what I do is I actually will take a trade like this. There's the trade, and then I'm leaving it. I'll come back and have a look at it tonight and see what happened. I'm not going to sit here and watch this. This is 4-hour charts. We're doing 4-hour trades. If I was doing 5-minute trades, then I'd be in panic and I'd be sitting here and I have to trade. And if I'm going out, I've got to sell all the trades, and I don't have to do that. I put my trades in. I've looked at my levels. My levels are in. And if there's any more trades, look, I would like to be watching the Euro US dollar, but you know, I've got it on my phone and I've got an alert on my phone. If it comes into a certain area, then it'll tell me and I can put it on my phone and I can take the trade if I want to. So I'll be out, but it's not a problem. But to just remember, if you're trading with lower time frames, you are going to be sitting in front of your computer all day watching these charts, and you're going to get a headache and it's going to drive you completely crazy. Believe me, I did it. I've done it before, and I don't think I really want to go back. I love trading. Let me put it this way. I love trading, but I also like to be able to get up and go. I don't want to have a situation where I go for a shower or I go downstairs or I go out or whatever, and you come back and the account's like taken out. It's so bad, you know, which normally doesn't happen if you're trading on the higher time frames, 4-hour charts, or even the 1-hour charts. You should be fine. But the minute you start dropping below those 15-minute charts, you're looking for trouble. You know, the whole reason I take my levels from the day charts is because that's the reliable level. That's the level. That's the real level. And then the 4-hour charts, I add levels like this in, which are basically just giving me an indication of there's a gap there. So there's probably some money lying around there or whatever the case, and you might get a trade out of there. But already it's not as reliable as the level below it. The level below it is far more reliable, and that's the level that you're playing around with. So same goes for here. This is taken from the day, and those are your levels. That's the main day level. So you know where that main day level is. You know that that's like a solid level there. And the reason I don't have a level at the top here from the day is because that is pretty much, I wouldn't say an all-time high, but very much, what can I call it? an all-time high for the last year. It's a higher high for a long period of time. So that's a higher high. If it breaks that higher high, it's gone. Okay, so it's going to go mad. So here, that's the reason we're using trend on this particular one, because we're sitting in a trend, and we can't really draw a resistance in here. There is no resistance. So your resistance will have to come from the trend, which will be the trend resistance, which is way up there if you look at it. And people will tell you that you have to have three points where the line joins. And in this case, there is 3, but it's very basically almost 2 because they're so close together. But I'm not a firm believer in that, because if I see a trend is a trend. And if there's 2 or if there's 3, that's still a trend. There's still buyers in the market. The people are buying this and it's going up. Euro, I saw that. I saw the euro US dollar is going up, and I think you were long, eh? Yes, you're long. And that's fantastic. That's good news. Did you see what I said here about the Great British Pound US dollar? I'm looking at this, and I said earlier, I'm seeing a left shoulder ahead, and I'm watching for a right shoulder to develop here. Might be interesting. If that develops, wow, we're going short, because that's going to be a biggie. So let's see what happens there. But you might be right about your long trade, because it is sort of, if the Great British Pound goes up here, then the euro US dollar should go up as well. And let's just see if it breaks through this level. If it breaks through this level to the upside, gives us a green candle, then I would look at a long to go straight up to the next level again. But for me, I want confirmation before. I'm not going to get into a trade in the middle here, because it could go down or it could go up from here. So for me, I'd like to see a green candle confirmation that side for long, a red candle confirmation this side for short. That's basically the way I look at it. But yeah, you're in a good place, because you've got the double bottom here. There's a double bottom lying here, right here. So that means you could have this nice long trade, probably up to, just be careful when it gets up to about 110.30. 110.30 here. If it gets to that, just keep your eyes open for what it's going to do. It might come back and retest and then go, but it will stay long. You should be okay. If it breaks through this, it's a nice long trade. How's it, Coral? You've come in quite late, and I am going to have to go, guys, because I've got to go, and I promised my mother-in-law that I'm going to take her somewhere, and I can't can't get out of that. So how's it, Daniel? Yeah, no, for you as well, guys. I'm really glad you guys have pulled in and whatnot, and thank you. But as I said, I've got to make it a short one today. Unfortunately, Daniel and Carl, I've really got to run now, because, like I say, I've made a promise to my mother-in-law, and I've got to keep it. So I can't sit here and carry on. In fact, I've got to leave all this behind, all this trading, all this stuff, and go. And go out there. So Daniel, thanks for pulling in, guys. Don't forget what I said earlier, that you know, with the markets being so, I'm just going to say this so that Carl and Daniel can get it before I go, is with all the volatility that's happening, you know, people, when there's a news event, they're getting really excited. And I noticed on Friday that the stops got taken out on 4-hour charts, which is pretty unusual. So I think people are getting a little bit nervous, a little bit excited about the markets, and jumping in at the slightest bit of news. So what I've done is I've made sure that the stop losses are wide enough to protect us from that scenario. So keep your stops wide. Don't keep your stops too close at the moment. Work out how much that amount that you're prepared to risk is. Work out how big your trade can be from that. Don't put your stops too close up now, because that is going to be an issue. In fact, this one, as I showed the guys on the funded trader account, on this account, because it's more money, I'll put it a bit closer, but on the funded trader account, I've put it down here at 37.2, somewhere down. They're all losing at the moment. That's the Japanese. Yeah, I've put the stop loss down all the way down here at 37.2. So just keep that in mind, guys. All right, just keep your stops wide, because the oaks are getting excited at the slightest bit of news at the moment. And news is, as you know, I don't trade the news. It's very much a scenario of somebody says something and then it goes that way, and somebody says something and then it goes that way. When that starts happening, the markets are very iffy. It almost feels like they want to tumble over, but they could also shoot to the moon. And the thing I'm looking at with the US 500, guys, is it is still above its support level. And what I'm looking at here is they might try and run this to 6,000 before Christmas. So, or at least have some kind of fancy target. So just watch out for that. If these markets go long, they're going to go long fast. Ooh, looks like my gold trade's doing quite bad at the moment, but it is still in that pennant, and they normally resolve to the upside. So I'm going to go out, and I'm going to leave all this stuff here like this. And then we're going to have another live session on Thursday, and then we can go into more detail about everything again, and we can talk about it. I just thought I'd tell you guys, especially the guys that have just come in, that just be careful of your stop losses. Don't keep them too close, because the guys are really, when it starts doing this, I mean, I haven't seen people get so excited about an NFP result since, I don't know when. You know, normally it's when the Fed reduces rates or talks or things that these things happen, not on an on-farm payroll or a jobs figure or something like that. So yeah, that starts happening. It starts happening frequently. It starts happening every week. But I don't bother with the news. I don't stay on it. But what I do is on my 4-hour charts, because you're not going to come right on the 5 minutes and all that, is I just leave a nice wide space, because I got surprised on Friday when it took those stops out. Whether they were in profit, whether they were break even, or whether they were losses, didn't really matter. They still got taken out. That was for me quite a surprise. Okay, so guys, have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope it was good. Don't forget to come back and watch the normal videos tomorrow, and come back for the live session on Thursday, and we'll go over it all again. We'll talk about it all again, and we'll see how this week goes. And hopefully hopefully this funded trader account will sort itself out, because it took a bit of a knock last week, and it's all 4 trades are not doing that great today. But as you know, when you take a trade, that always happens. It goes against you a little bit. But I'm trying to keep that account within its levels so they don't shut it down or whatever the case. So thanks, guys. And I'll see you soon. Have a good day. Have a good trading day. Good luck with all your trades this week. And let me know how it's going on your side. Don't forget, I did open the Discord channel for all of you. Somebody said to me the link wasn't working today. It was Francois. I sent him another link. But I'm not that savvy with that sort of stuff yet. But if it works, it'll be great. I'll try and post the trades out there, and then we can have a bit of fun with that as well. But okay, let me go and take my mother-in-law on a trip, and I'll speak to you guys later. Cheers. Thanks.